good to be back. Hello, Nevada. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and happy Diwali to everyone celebrating. So listen, Las Vegas, are we ready to do this? Are we ready to vote? Are we ready to win? All right. It is good to be back and to be with so many incredible leaders, including, of course, and for anybody who has a seat, please do feel like sitting. Sí se puede. I want to thank Senator Jackie Rosen, who we must reelect to the United States Senate. And while we're at it, let's reelect Representatives Horsford, Titus, and Lee. Can we please applaud Mana? We also have my dear husband, the second gentleman, with us this evening. And we are joined by tribal leaders from across the country here for the National Conference of American Indians. And I have to say, I strongly believe that the relationship between tribal nations and the United States is sacred, and that we must honor tribal sovereignty always and embrace our trust and treaty obligations and ensure tribal self-determination. And as president, I will defend these principles always. All right, so Nevada, tomorrow, Friday, November 1st, is the last day to vote early in person. And Nevada, if you are voting by mail, please do not wait. Sign the envelope and return your ballot as soon as possible. Your ballot must be returned to a drop box or postmarked by Election Day next Tuesday, November 5th. Go to iwillvote.com, and to all the leaders here, please help get the word out. And we need you to vote Nevada because we have just 5 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. And we have work to do. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. 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 And we will win. We will win because here's what I believe. When you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. And we all know we have an opportunity in this election to turn the page on a decade of Donald Trump trying to keep us divided and afraid of each other. We're done with that. We're done. We're exhausted with it. And we know that is who he is. That is who he is. But Las Vegas, that is not who we are. That is not who we are. And it is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next president of the United States. And Nevada, you know me. I'm not afraid of tough fights. For decades as a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of our biggest state, the first cousin of Nevada, I won fights against the big banks that ripped off homeowners. I won fights against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students, against predators who abused women and children. I won fights against cartels that trafficked in guns and drugs and human beings. And I pledge to you, if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way. And look, we all know who Donald Trump is. This is not someone who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is increasingly unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and he's out for unchecked power. And look, in less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me in the Oval Office. And here's the thing we know, and this is part of what we're fighting for, because we have the image of what it could be. It won't be, but what it could be if he was elected. If he were reelected on day one, Donald Trump would walk into that office with an enemies list. When I am elected, I will walk in with a to-do list on behalf of you. On behalf of you. And at the top of my list is bringing down the cost of your living. That will be my focus every single day as president. I will give a middle-class tax cut to over 100 million Americans. I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries. I will make housing more affordable by building more homes and by taking on those corporate landlords who unfairly buy up all those properties and then jack up your rent. And we will fight for working families by raising the minimum wage and eliminating taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. And if you are caring for an elderly parent, you know, I took care of my mother when she was sick. If you are taking care of an elderly parent, this is personal for me. My plan will cover the cost of home care for your elder parent under Medicare, so you don't have to spend down your savings in order to qualify for Medicaid. So seniors can get the help and care they need to stay in their homes. And this is just a matter of dignity. Dignity. Dignity is why I will lower the cost of child care, because we know families are struggling right now, and folks just need a little bit to not just be able to get by, but get ahead. It's about dignity, and it's about values that you bring to your position of leadership. And as far as I'm concerned, we're done with the idea that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, when we know the real measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. We will cut taxes for small businesses. Do I see any small business owners in the house? I love our small businesses. You all are part of the backbone of America's economy. We will lower health care costs, because here's the value I bring to that. I believe health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. On the other hand, Donald Trump's answer to the financial pressures you face is the same as it was last time. Another $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires and big corporations. And this time, he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything you buy that is imported. Think about that. Clothes, food, toys, cell phones. A Trump sales tax, the economists say, would cost the average family an extra $4,000 a year. And on top of that, Donald Trump still is trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And he has a powerful friend in Congress, the Speaker of the House, who recently said there will be, quote, no Obamacare if Trump wins, which would have the effect, if they were to win, to put millions of Americans off of their health insurance, to throw millions of Americans off of their health insurance, to take us back to that time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Do you remember what that was? Well, We are not going back. We're 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 not going back. And we are not going back because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom, like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. And we all remember how we got here. When Donald Trump was president, he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. They did as he intended, and now in America, 1 in 3 women lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions even for rape and incest, which is immoral. And Donald Trump been done. Did anybody hear what he just said yesterday? He said, I mean, come on, right? So he said that he will do what he wants, now I'm about to quote, whether the women like it or not. This is the same person who said that women should be punished for their choices. He simply, well, I hear you, but you know what? You know what? The courts are going to handle that. The courts will handle that. We'll handle November. How about that? We'll handle November. Because, see, we know the man simply does not respect the freedom of women or the intelligence of women to be able to make decisions about their own lives. And we know if he were elected, he would ban abortion nationwide, restrict access to birth control, put IVF treatments at risk, and force states, listen to this, to monitor women's pregnancies. Don't believe me? Look at, just Google Project 2025, which I cannot believe they put in writing. And I love you back. I love you back. I love you back. And on this topic, I know everyone here knows and agrees that one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government shouldn't be telling her what to do. Not the government and not Donald Trump. So Nevada, to make your right heard and to protect your right to make your own health care decisions, I would also recommend you vote yes on question 6. And make sure you vote up and down the ballot to truly protect your rights. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom nationwide, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. I will proudly sign it into law. So Nevada, on that point, I am here to ask for your vote. I am here to ask for your vote. And here is my pledge to you. And here is my pledge to you. As president, I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to the challenges you face. I pledge to not try to score political points, but to make progress in your lives and in our country. I pledge to listen to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make. I pledge to listen to experts. I pledge to listen to people who disagree with me because, you see, unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table. That's what real leadership looks like. And I pledge to always put country above party and self and to be a president for all Americans. And now with 5 days left in this campaign, my opponent is also making a closing argument to America. I don't know if you may have seen, I talked in Washington, D.C. the other day. You know, he likes to compare crowd sizes. I had 100,000 people there. But listen to what he's saying as his closing argument. It's all about hate and division. Jennifer talked about it. It's all about hate and division. And it's not just what he says, it's what he will do. Because if elected, you can be sure he will bring back family separation policies, only on a much greater scale than the last time. We can imagine what he will do with unchecked power, because recall that recently the United States Supreme Court, now this is what's different from 2016 and 2020. The court said essentially that he will be immune no matter what he does in the White House. And so for all the reasons we know, it is time to turn the page on Donald Trump. Let's turn the page. And it all comes down to this. You all have taken time out of your busy lives to be here tonight, and I thank you for that, and I thank you for that. And I know that one of the biggest reasons we are all here together tonight is because we love our country. We love our country, and we know when you love something, you fight for it. When you love something, you fight for it. And I do, and I love you, and yes. And here's the thing. And I do believe it is one of the highest forms of patriotism, of our expression of our love for our country, to then fight for the ideals of our country and to fight to realize the promise of America. And I have always believed in our nation's promise because I have lived it. You know, I grew up a child of the civil rights movement. My parents would take me to the marches when I was in a stroller, where people from all walks of life came together to fight for freedom and for opportunity. You know, growing up, I saw how hard my mother worked to raise her daughters and give us the same chances our country gave her. And I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love who instilled in me the values of community, of compassion, and faith. And I've spent my life fighting for people who have been hurt and who have been counted out, but who never stopped believing in what our country can do and what is possible. I have lived the promise of America. And today, I see the promise of America in everyone here tonight. Everyone here tonight. In all of us. Sí se puede. I see the promise of America. And I see the promise of America in the fathers and mothers who work hard every day for your children's future. I see it in the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom and the men who support them. I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but have put the Constitution of the United States before party. And I see the promise of America in all the young leaders who are here and are voting for the first time. Oh, I love Gen Z. I love you guys. young leaders, you guys are rightly impatient. You are rightly impatient for change. You are young leaders who are determined to live free from gun violence, to take on the climate crisis. You intend to shape the world you inherit. I love that about you, because for you, none of these issues is theoretical. It's not political. This is your lived experience. And I see you, and I see your power, and I'm so proud of you. And I want everyone here, let's applaud our first-time voters. Let's applaud our first-time voters and our young leaders. Let's applaud them, our young leaders. And I know the people of Nevada, you are battle-born and ready for the hard work ahead. So we got 5 days to get this done, 5 days. And no one can sit on the sidelines. So let's spend the next 5 days so that when we look back on these days, we will have no regrets that we did everything we could, that we knocked on doors, that we texted and we called folks. We reached out to family and friends and classmates and neighbors and coworkers. And as we do, I have another request of you. In these next days, let us please be intentional about building community. Let us please, these years, this Trump era, this time of trying to have people point their fingers at each other, the division, the hate, the trying to make people feel alone, when we all know we all have so much more in common than what separates us. So let's be intentional in building community. Let's be intentional in building coalitions. And let us remember, your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. It's your power. Don't ever let anybody take your power from you. So Nevada, today I then ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.